Hello there everybody. If you're looking for more action in your Cardfight Vanguard playtesting, or maybe you need some singles to finish out that deck, feel free to check out Ultra Reality Games, aka ARG. There's a link in the description down below that will take you directly to their website, where you will be able to find singles, articles, event information, and more. The ARG Circuit Series is still ongoing, so feel free to check out that website for the latest information, because who knows, maybe one of their regionals will be near your location. So feel free to check them out. Take care, guys.
What's going on YouTube? I am the AlphonZeus of Team Gradelock.
There you go.
We are taking a trip back to 2000 whenever, because I see Coco over here and I also see Amaterasu.
I mean, we're going back to the basics, because like the most basic ginger card you ever got. We may not have 7 10k vanillas in this deck, but we still have 10k vanillas, so going back to the basics, that's how I'm going to announce this.
So this is an updated OTT deck profile with the release of Trinity Dragon support, and we're going to get into it and see what the witches have to do and be a part of it. So without further ado, Ryan,
all right,
take it away.
So,
and I'm sorry if you guys do notice it. I'm sorry for the minor shaking of the camera.
We're using like legit hands and other things instead of a tripod right now because
tripod kind of broke.
Yeah, but regardless, if we're playing witches, we gotta start with Lulu, right? So she has Forerunner before she doesn't have Forerunner. I mean, but she has a ability where a grade, the grade 3 OTT rides, and she pops out a soul. It's easy. But when she pops out a soul, you Soul Blast 2 to draw a card. It's pretty good draw power these days. It still is. I like it. We need witches to make your soul soulless for Coco. So we need her. Speaking of Coco, here's the basic ginger herself. I know. 10Ks right now. 10K grade 3s ain't that great, but the way this deck plays, it's perfectly fine. So obviously on ride, counterblast 2. If you have 1 or less cards in hand, draw 2 cards. It's pretty good.
If you have 1
soul, soul. You draw cards, and then if you have no cards in soul, when on your turn she gets +3. So it's okay. The main thing we do is ride into the new witch after we ride into her. If we have to ride her, Cuckoo. That's pretty creative in a name. Just added 2 more O's, I guess. But point is, she's an 11k witch, which is pretty good. When you ride her, though, you counterblast 1. You don't have to ride her, just ride her. She's a Vanguard or Rearguard ability if you have a Witch Vanguard. So when you do that, you draw 2 cards and discard a card. So you're discarding a card, but you have 1 less counterblast and 1k more power, which means a lot in this game sometimes. So the basic thing is that you'll ride into this, have no cards in soul, and then ride into that later on to have your 11k base. And then you'll start doing your psychic burst plays of drawing more cards. So, you guys will know later on if you guys know already what's coming up. But there's 8 witches in this deck so far. Just gonna keep counting that because you'll know why in a bit. Moving on, we have Battle Sister Crepe, however you want to say her name.
Crepe, like a food, because they're all named after food.
Yeah. So this is Battle Sister Witches because the rest of the deck is pretty much Battle Sister, but we use like the universal ones, I guess you want to say. And
the strides will tell why we are using Battle Sisters.
Yeah,
as
our stride zone will
explain a lot of the deck.
Yeah. Also explain why I'm counting how many witches are in the deck. Anyway, so Crepe has, I'm saying Crepe because it's funnier to me, but GB1 Oracle, she's an 11k. Oracle is when you have 5 or more cards in hand, for those of you who don't know. And then she has an on-hit ability for if you have a Battle Sister Vanguard, you counterblast 1 Battle Sister, and if you have a Battle Sister Vanguard, you draw a card. So it's more draw power. Again, the stride zone will explain more later on, but she's pretty basic.
I think she's more valued for 11k attacker than she is for her counterblast 1 to draw. But
although we have someone here who's seen me use her effect a lot anyway, so he can chime in. He's probably going to chime in once I get to the 1 stride. But
it's never bad to draw a card.
No. going back to the basics, we have 10k vanilla.
Yeah, I remember this girl, and she's still good to this day because of her name. Battle Sister Tart.
Tart. Yeah. But if you go first and ride this as your grade 2, that's some pretty good value right there, because some things can't hit you. She's just a 10k. She'll gain power later on, you'll see why. And she has Battle Sister name. That's all that matters pretty much. Again, basics.
Because everybody loves 10Ks nowadays, just stop rush. Everything else is a 9K.
Pretty much. This one's an 8k. This is a real throwback though. This is Mocha. So Vanguard, Rear Guard. If you have 4 or more cards in hand, she gains 3k power, putting it to her 11k. So she's another 11k attacker. Where are you, Crepe? There you are.
And she's basically Crepe without the Oracle.
Pretty much.
Well, technically her skill's an Oracle.
It's like one less Oracle. I've like used this on turn 2 for Rush, and it's great.
Just because
the power is good. But yeah. So the grade 2 lineup is pretty basic, even though it's not 7 10Ks like we ran. But it's still a thing. It's still good.
It's very old. That old profile is very old.
Yep. And unflipping PGs. What I'm thinking of doing, because Tony over here gave me the fun idea of only playing 3 of these and 1 Oracle PG just to keep recycling it.
I mean, I would assume it's because the deck doesn't run through a lot of counterblast as is, and
no,
the recycling PG is just very handy.
This counter charges enough, and then we have the crit, the Battle Sister crit, that when we use it will countercharge 2 cards on attack. So that's pretty good countercharging in this deck. So running only 3 and then the 1 recyclable Oracle Perfect Guard it would be good, which I'm gonna have to test that after this more. But yeah, PGs. 4 stride fodder because striding is very important, and I don't want to waste the grade 3 sometimes.
Especially when you're like riding them and then riding another one.
That, and for a very specific reason.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, because you want to keep the witches in hand.
Yeah.
That's why.
10k attackers for Battle Sisters. Really good on turn 2 when you have your entire Battle Sister grade 2 lineup, just for more rush. And good when you have your Battle Sister Stride on board. So 3 of them. And then 3 Rusk. She's a resist booster, basically, because her Soul Blast effect doesn't go off as much because of being soulless.
Yep.
The only time it will go off is when you Soul Charge with Amaterasu Stride.
And it would randomly be a Battle Sister?
Yeah. Sometimes... No, in my luck, it really isn't sometimes. So she's really good as a resist unit, that's why.
Yep.
She's another Battle Sister name. It's also another thing.
She's just good to not get Denial Griffin.
Right. The Battle Sister name is very important in this deck, too. It can be more important than the Witch name sometimes. Most of the time, actually. That's besides the point. Battle Sister crit. This one's fun. So, you put this on top of your deck. If you have a Battle Sister Vanguard, you give a... Is it a Battle Sister specifically? Yeah. Oh, you just give one of your other units plus 3k power and the Oracle ability that on attack countercharge 2. And then you shuffle your deck. It could also be used like Paradigm Shift Dragon just to shuffle into deck. But the point is, this gives 3 and your unflipping potential. And it just works. That's all I have to say about it.
It's just Paradigm Shift clones are very nice, and just to have one that actually works and countercharges,
yeah,
it's very nice.
Psychic Bird is our next thing, as it's mainly just another crit, and if I want to use it to Soul Charge, I do. I don't find myself doing it as much anymore because of saving guard. I was thinking about dropping the Battle Sister crit in here, especially because they got the Ginger, because it's foil now. If John will give it to me, but I know he won't.
No. If I can't have my Starvader one, I have to have the Battle Sister one.
And then, this is going to be the weird thing, because, OTT decks normally run 12 crits, but we run 4 draws. And but look at the name. That's a witch.
Oh wait, it's a witch.
There are 12 witches in this deck. Again, we'll know why we're counting it a bit, but I've been playing decks that don't run draw triggers, and this draw trigger has just been so fun. Because just damage checking it and getting another card to hand or guard, or even just have is fun. Drive checking it and making your cards even stronger from your abilities is even better. It's just fun. Draw trigger. So it has no effect, so I can't really go into detail about it other than that it has a witch name, and that's important.
The only thing you have to know is its name, that it's a witch.
Yep. Heal triggers is classic Lozenge Vegas.
Not SP.
I'm gonna pick up the SPs, don't worry.
Don't make me cry.
You know I will. You already saw the two, you saw these. Anyway, I find myself actually using her as a booster and sending it back to deck more to keep my deck going. Other times I have to use it to G-Guard, but otherwise, Lozenge Mega is just another nice throwback because I use her effect.
Since set 1, I'm pretty sure.
This is the set 1/1 too.
Yeah.
All of them are, so that's what makes me happy about it.
And it's just very good because this deck draws a lot, so if you just end up drawing a lot of heals, throwing them back doesn't hurt to do it.
See, the cool thing about this deck is that it has 8 recyclable triggers in it.
Yeah, a lot of decks don't have that privilege, I guess, to do it.
So we're gonna Stride Zone. We're gonna get the G guards out of the way first.
And speaking of throwbacks, SP $75.
85. It actually sold for
85.
So Amaterasu G guard. If you have 4 more cards in hand, G guard gets plus 10k. It's a 25k shield. It's pretty good. But the mandatory ability of when you place it on on the Guardian Circle is the Soul Charge 1. Check the top card and put it on top or bottom. So that has the classic Amaterasu ability of seeing what the fuck you have in your deck.
Yep.
I've used that ability to keep other heals on top of the deck to heal out of a sticky situation. Others just have it as a draw trigger or some shit like that.
I mean, I remember there are times when I'd be at 4 and then I'd use the skill to leave a draw trigger on top. That's fun.
Exactly. But yeah, so some people run 4. I ran 4. And then I ran into situations where I don't have 4 cards in hand when I G-Guard with her.
And then I ran into a situation where I deck out because of it.
So we only run 3. Because then we run
I also find that if you need to get the deck going, sometimes your deck gets thin and you don't want to actually use the G-Guard.
Especially when you end up putting Waffle back and then you end up soul charging Waffle with it.
Right.
Defeats the purpose.
So then we run just a 20k shield one where it's if you have 3 or more cards in hand, which normally I have. It's very rare that I don't have 3 cards in hand.
The throwback to both Amaterasu and Ichibiyoshi.
Yeah. Wait, why'd you grab that one?
That was the one on the top, man. That hurts.
Anyway.
A card that's worth like quadruple its price than the normal rarity.
Word. Anyway, so just the 20k shield is fun, is nice sometimes. I've been testing a Gleam also.
Because you do run draw triggers.
Yeah, because the draw power is nice. Just discarding and drawing into things that help me later on too. I think it's more preference here. I'm gonna test more either one, but yeah, these are both good if you can get your hands on this thing until it gets reprinted.
Well, actually, no. It's not. It's not the same card. They're just making another unit with the same effect.
Another G-Guard with the same effect.
It's a functional reprint.
It
does exactly the same thing, but it's a different name.
So it's literally this,
but with a different name.
Uh-huh.
That's hilarious. Okay, until you get that new card.
You could run 8 of it.
I guess. G-Guard's out of the way. So now here's where the fun things come in and why we play so many Battle Sisters. Probably one of my favorite strides because this card's great.
It's probably one of the best strides.
We got Excite Battle Sister Mirror because she's excited for some reason. I know why because she's broken, but it's beside the point.
Broken, but she's very
good.
strong.
She's for this deck for the Battle Sisters.
By OTT standards, she's broken.
OTT standards definitely because they don't have much. But what they have is actually makes up for it sometimes. But so her ability is you unflip like anything in your G zone, right? So
yeah,
it's pretty good. So you unflip anything. That's good for other effects if you're playing Susano still, where you want to have Amaterasu or Wakahiri up face up. besides the point. Also gets you to GB8 quicker because we're gonna start talking about GB8s now. So you unflip anything. She gets two red text abilities, right?
Mm-hmm.
One is whenever a battle sister hits, whether it be herself or your rear guards, hence why you run the rear guards, you counterblast one to draw a card. And that's hits. It doesn't matter if it's a Vanguard or rear guard. It just has to hit. So I find myself attacking the rear guard sometimes, thanks to a strategy from Tony, because that was just dumb.
Yeah.
Because your opponent won't guard it. If you need to get those cards in hand, that's just fun.
Right.
And if you're in the position to do it, it's fine.
Also, the power bonus is what, GB3?
The power
Yes.
bonus is GB3. So the second red text is GB3. Oracle, your front row Battle Sisters gain +1 for each card in your hand. And that's why running draw triggers is so fun to me. Because let's say you're at 2 or 3 cards in hand because you drop things. You go up to like 6. Let's say you're 3, you go up to 6. Get a draw trigger. Oh, yeah, my cards are stronger now.
Right.
By 1,000, that 1,000 can mean something. Anyway, it's just fun because where are you? Your 11Ks go from their base, or 10K go from their powers to like +5, +6, +7, plus whatever you have in hand, and that just makes them like hard to guard sometimes, especially when you get those triggers.
And the best part about her is that she does not require a Battle Sister heart.
Right.
Exactly.
You
I was running her in the Susano deck only because of the fact that I like it better than the first stride that most people are running, the Oracle one, where you flip up something that you need to be an Oracle first. Where you don't have to be an Oracle. You can have 2 cards in hand and still go into it.
Right.
You just fill back up.
This card, it's just a solid card. I love it.
It creates a whole engine for you of just having your grade 2s and your grade 1 becomes B6 for no reasons.
Also, not
That's
to
why.
mention the fact that the crit trigger goes back into the deck because of her, because the crit trigger just requires a Battle Sister Vanguard.
That's where most of your abilities of needing a Battle Sister Vanguard come into because of her.
You get that effect of most likely when you counterblast for her hitting or something, you'll refund that cost like with the attack of your rear guards because your opponent's probably going to guard that other one if you attack in the correct way.
Right.
So it's like you just refunded your cost, and that's why the damage is an issue in this deck, and that's why I like the deck a lot too. The costs just get refunded pretty easily, actually. Also, why we're considering dropping in the Oracle PG. That thing's just fun to begin with, though. So 4 of her.
And now we get into the part why we run the witches.
Then we get to a really fun card. So her name is Floral Witch Master Mimi. So it's a witch stride. So when you stride into her, if you have a witch heart, you discard a witch. Hence why we need witches.
You discard your draw triggers.
Exactly. So you need to discard a witch to get the ability that your opponent has to either discard 2 cards or take 1 damage. Trigger effect's nullified, mind you. So that discard 2 can hurt them. They don't want to take it sometimes.
It especially hurts a lot of decks that tend to rush, like Royal Paladins and Uncle Force. Sometimes they're just forced to take the damage at that point.
Thing is that
Right.
If it's your first stride, like if you get the stride first, your opponent probably has like maybe 5 cards in hand, 6 cards in hand, and then you're just like, go down to 3 and then guard all of these attacks.
Right. When you use this early, it's actually really aggressive because if they don't have that many cards in hand, they're going to take the damage and try to guard the rest of your attacks.
It's not gaining a crit, but it's insanely close to what that is. It's either forcing a damage or forcing out 2 cards.
Right. Also, it's really fun to go into this card when your opponent's at 5 and they're just like, I hate you, and I have to discard 2 cards.
They have to discard 2 cards at that point.
Because it doesn't specify that if you're 5 or less damage or anything like that, it just says discard 2 cards or take a damage.
Right. And that nullifying triggers just comes in handy so much because I've dealt damage and hit someone's heal trigger many times. Not just you, Tony, other people.
That's the best part.
Yeah, just any trigger in general, it's just fun. I only run 3 because I used to run 4. I dropped 1 for another card, we'll see in a little bit, just because I felt the need for it because the way this deck plays to begin with. But 3 of these is fine.
That's the versatility of the deck. You could run 2 different engines just by having different grade 3s and
we're seeing
and
the SP
grade
again,
2s.
but generally switch between these two early to mid game.
It's just depending on the position that your opponent's in.
And you.
Yep.
So this card's really fun. That's why we're playing. That's why we have 12 witches in the deck. That's why we're opting for the draw trigger to put in the deck too.
And both your grade 3 rides will help you, hopefully help you draw into the witches that are necessary to use.
Right. And now we're going into just the basic, just other tech strides, I guess you call them, but they do have their good functionality. So we play two. Which one are you?
Kamu Susano.
Dragon Destroyer battles AD Kamu Susano because they're both named Kamu Susano, so I can't just say that.
Oh.
Yeah.
The bad Kamu Susano. I don't know. Go ahead. Go and say your things about this card.
Oh, I don't use it that much. So.
That's why it's bad.
But I don't know. You just unflip a copy of itself. He gets the on-hit ability that you check the top 2, put one in your hand, put one at the bottom or top. It's just the bottom, yeah. And then a GB3 of your units gain +2.
Oracle.
Or is it Oracle?
It's Oracle.
It's Oracle too. Wow. Okay. Yeah. It's okay for like if you have to go into it early game if you can't use those because it's just on hit.
Early game, it's a good card if they actually tried to guard your Floral Witch. If they actually tried to guard your Floral Witch, it's a good card. Other than that, it's good for making, since you run 11k attackers and you have 7.
It's good for making like nice numbers because we have 7k boosters too.
And you have 11. Well, it's good for because you have 7k boosters, but also because you have 11k attackers.
Right. They become your boosters become the 9ks at that point, and then your
attackers either become 12 or 13.
And that hits the magic number of 21, 22, which is good.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why this card can be good. I just don't find myself going into it that much.
No.
But he's good just to have there. He most likely going to be one of the cards that get dropped for Albatross Stride.
Probably. I don't blame it.
Well, like whatever, but yeah. Then we have State Affairs, whatever, other GR Kamu Susano, the better one, I guess.
Quotation marks on that one, whatever. It's good if you're losing.
Yeah. So remember those times where I said like, you know, if I'm surprisingly really low on cards, this is where he comes in handy. Because when you ride, it's a GB2. You ride, it is GB2, right? Yeah, it's G. They're both GB2 abilities. When he hits the Guardian, the Vanguard Circle, you counterblast 2 to draw up to 5 until you have 5 cards.
To reach Oracle.
To reach your Oracle, yeah. It's okay for setting up your hand a bit at that point. Then his main feature of this card is having the other GB2 Oracle ability to gain 5k in a crit. So let's say you're like at 2 or 3 cards in hand. When you drive check, you go up to 5, and then his ability triggers. So essentially, your opponent has to guard for 31 or 26 or whatever, depending on what you have boosting.
Well, it's already 31 as is guaranteed.
Well, yeah, they've been for 31 or 36, depending on what you have. Because of that 5k to crit, that's one thing to watch out for. This card generally gets perfect guarded, so it's fine because it wastes perfect guards, and so does the rest of the stride zone pretty much.
That's what you go into it half the time for, to just have a 5k and a crit. The only times you would go into it to draw 5 until you have 5 is if you rushed your opponent and they try to retaliate, and then you guard with everything and draw until you have 5.
Right. And then, yeah. So the general thing I've noticed about this stride zone is that most of them do waste your opponent's perfect guards. So going into this next card late game when they don't have them anymore is just fun. And John can kind of vouch for that, because it's like one of his favorite strides.
He's been one of my favorite strides for a while. He's let me down a couple times, but it's okay.
We won't talk about that. But yeah, when you're... Here, let's see something. When your stride zone's looking like that or something, I think he gets pretty big.
Especially considering that Mirror flips.
Exactly. So, adding that into account, why not?
A lot of things just flip.
I'm not even going to count that, but that's generally what you could see going on with this deck. So, Blizza gets pretty big. He is this deck's, I guess, quote-unquote finisher, like actual finisher.
For now. And so this is just sometimes when you've been wasting a lot of perfect guards and your opponent just flat outs don't expect it late game just to come out and beat them.
Right. This card, it's really good to come out of nowhere. I like this card a lot. I added him. I took out the fourth Mimi to play this card pretty much, just because I felt he was necessary in some parts because I've noticed it. So, Blizza, and that's the rest of the Stride Zone. So, yeah. That's the deck. As basic as normal as ever.
Yep. All right, guys. I thank you guys for watching, and I hope you appreciated this quote unquote late profile from Trinity Dragon with updated support to the Witches. If you could thumbs up for my bay, I would appreciate it. But for serious though, thank you guys for watching, and stay tuned for more matches, videos, and profiles from Team Gradelock. I hope you guys have a nice day, and peace out.
Hey there guys, the AlphonZeus of Team Gradelock. Thank you so much for watching this video, and don't forget to check out Alter Reality Games, aka ARG. We got a link to their website in the description down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more Cardfight Vanguard content. Take care guys, have a great day!